With that, let me pass it off to you, Brenda.
Good morning, I'm Brenda. Growing up as a pastor's kid was hard. When I was a junior in high school, I met Harlan, and when I turned 18, even though they didn't approve and told me it was a mistake, Harlan and I got married. During our marriage, I was physically, emotionally, and verbally abused. 2 of my nephews passed away, both when they were 8. A family scandal came to light, and my parents separated and got divorced after 37 years. It was my dad's fault. He took responsibility, but I was lost, not following Jesus, and felt alone. I was too proud to admit to anyone that they were right about Harlan. I questioned God and wondered how my dad, that was supposed to have all the answers, makes such a terrible decision and judge me. Over the next few years, life got better because my physical abuse had stopped. Looking back, I didn't realize how my verbal and emotional abuse continued. My mom and I grew close after the divorce, but in 2004, she was diagnosed with esophagus cancer and passed away 4 months later, a week before Christmas. I ate through my sorrow and gained over 100 pounds in less than a year. In 2008, I had gastric bypass surgery and got sepsis. I was on life support and in a coma for 12 days, and it took me months to recover and get back to work. I continued to question God, why now? Why haven't I been through enough? In 2006 and 2007, we adopted our 5 children that lived with us in foster care. Eventually, my dad moved in to help because I was working and taking care of the kids basically on my own. His health was slowly deteriorating, and in 2016, he passed away after having a stroke. I found myself alone without any family support, and I again continued to question God and ask why. Over the years, I knew I needed to leave my husband for our safety and mental sake, but I was so afraid of being a single mom or being able to trust getting away from him. I never got the courage. I felt guilty for failing as a mom. I wasn't protecting or showing them the love they deserved. I took my frustrations of my life out on them. I yelled, screamed even. I was quick to anger, punishment, and judgment. Forrest had been back in foster care for so long, most people didn't even know I had a 5th child. Another was also back in foster care, and my relationship with the rest of my kids at home hardly existed. In 2018, my youngest son was struggling and asked if we could listen to a station he found on the radio that helped him feel calm and happy. The station turned out to be a station that plays music about God. Over the next few years, listening to the radio in my car was the only thing that reminded me about God. I seemed to be drawn to songs about giving control to God. When listening, I didn't feel the anxiousness, anger, and guilt that was consuming me. It gave me hope of getting the courage to finally leave Harlan because almost all of the kids were out of the house. I felt guilty because now his health was deteriorating and he struggled taking care of himself. A couple of years later, in May 2023, Harlan died in his sleep while I was at work. It is hard to describe feeling devastation, relief, anger, frustration, and being alone all at once. I felt guilty because the days and months following the death brought all of my kids back together for the first time in over 14 years, and I felt like I could breathe and be in control of my life. In September 2023, after putting off God and getting back to church, I came here to Harvest and started attending regularly. Harvest Life was getting ready to start, and I decided to take a leap and sign up. Then community groups started, and I signed up. I could feel God changing my heart. The growing, sharing, and examples of living for Christ is nothing like I've ever experienced. The women's retreat in 2024 was the turning point. I had this barrier of feeling not worthy of God. While this is true, none of us are worthy. God in his great unconditional love for us make us worthy through Jesus. He traded my sin for his righteousness. I was done feeling guilty about Harlan's death and how my life had changed for the better because God was changing my heart. I also knew I had to let the mental grip of all the emotional and verbal abuse go. Now it's summer, and I left all my busyness come between me and attending church more than I realized. When small groups started again, I felt so guilty for all that God had done in my life and my family's life, but I wasn't giving God the time I should. While praying, tears were flowing, and I knew I had to make more changes. So many times in my life, Jesus had come and gone in phases throughout my life. But at this moment, at community group, I was done with God being a phase. I want the Holy Spirit to permanently be in my heart, mind, and soul. And I realized the only way to do that was to give God control. I can't describe the overwhelming feeling of the love I feel from God and this community of people. It is nothing I have ever felt in my life. I have realized that it is God's plan for my family and I. How else could we have been put together the way he did? It wasn't in my timing, but it is in God's. I now understand the why I kept asking so many times in my life. I know this is only the beginning, but I have faith that if I continue to trust him and let God have control of my life, anything is possible. I pray for the Holy Spirit to help me grow in patience, love, and understanding, to become braver in talking to people I meet about him, to be a better mom and example of the life that is possible with God being first. I know that there will be more trials, tribulation, losses, and heartbreak in my life. But I know if I continue to have faith in Jesus and look to him first and foremost, I can get through anything. Today, on Easter Sunday, I am choosing that God alone is control of my life and publicly declaring that none of this is possible without his sacrifice and resurrection that we are celebrating today. By his mercy and grace, he has forgiven me, and I have given control of my life to him and will not be afraid to say yes when he asks. Thank you.